Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Live from the Apocalypse. You have probably seen us before. If you're new here, welcome. That's who we are. We are Live from the Apocalypse, and we're doing things a little bit differently this week. Normally we have our ongoing games, but switching things up a little bit. If you've been around for a little while, you may recall Fury Brick Road, our Wizard of Oz themed D&D 5e game that happened on Wednesdays. And our illustrious GM for that game, Della, recently produced a child. So for 6 months, she is not going to be doing anything except general momming, which means we had an open slot. And so we reached out to some of the cast members on our channel and asked, hey, does anybody have an idea for a game they want to run on Wednesdays, probably with like a shorter time frame than our ongoing campaigns do? And we did get some hits. So this is the first Wildcard Wednesday. These games are going to run a little bit shorter than our normal ongoing campaigns, but this is but we're going to get to do more variety. We're going to get to have some new people on the channel, maybe some guests, who knows. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Victoria, who you've probably seen on Pulp Diction, or running a one-shot here or there on the channel. I think you ran Honey Heist, right, for the channel?
Yep.
That's what I thought. And yeah, this is going to be her show. So without further ado, Victoria, take it away.
Hi. I also ran a couple of games for our Gen Con, so you may have seen me run those guys. But we are starting a new campaign through what is soon to be the end of the world. This is Live from the Apocalypse. We play tabletop role-playing games to benefit nonprofits. This specifically will be benefiting Planned Parenthood, that probably needs no introduction, but the importance of which has certainly been highlighted recently. They help with reproductive health care. They are one of the only places where you can get screened for cancer, where men and women can both get affordable care and educational information, which is critically important, especially now. So that's where we are benefiting during this Wildcard Wednesday. We ask that if you like what you see here, rather than subscribing or giving us donations or any of the normal Twitch bits, that you take that money and you donate it directly to Planned Parenthood. If you want to describe with your Prime subscription, that'd be fantastic. But unnecessary. We'd love for you to push it on through to Planned Parenthood, especially now. So if at any point you want to donate, you can type a !PP donate, and if you put it in the chat, it will post the link and it will do a grip it and rip it, and we can see that you donated. So that would be awesome. We also have channel points that you can use to unlock emotes. You don't have to be subscribed for that, and to interact with and influence the stream in other ways. You can gift inspiration if you would like to. So let's get into it. So, oh, and it's on the chat. If you're with us on Twitch, it's in the chat. So, okay. We have already had a start to this adventure, in that our heroes have come from different places, all to the land of Greyhawk, and specifically to the city of Obsidian Bay. They are not as well acquainted with one another as they certainly will be. Do they already have one?
Okay. We do. We already have a donation. Technically, our second donation of the stream. Guest checkout coming in clutch tonight. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you. So our crew has come from different places. They've all been adventurers for a while. But on this winter New Year's festival, Gotten Market in Obsidian Bay, you have the opportunity to look for rare items, things that otherwise might not be openly available, that the markets have been set up specifically for wondrous things. And that brings adventurers and people from all walks of life to Obsidian Bay specifically for this holiday. Also, there's mulled wine and festivities outside, and a new year has begun, and even though it's winter, it's festive and it's great, right? So everyone has come here looking for a rare item, and in the process of that different procurement for limited success or not. They've been identified as outsiders by the city and rounded up by our city guard, which is where we're going to start our adventure because all of them are currently in jail. So I wanted each player to get a sense of, one, to introduce themselves as to what they look like and who they are in character, but also to how they got themselves into this mess, what it was they were looking for, and where we are now. So I will happily take volunteers, but I could also just roll a d4. So, you know, if you're feeling brave, but if not, I'm just going to make you go.
I'll go. My name is Zach. I'm new to this whole thing, but I'm really glad I'm be a part of it. I love playing D&D, and I love doing things for charity, so great combination. The character I'm playing is a Githzerai artificer, known as Zerk Ultin, Zerk for short. He has many different reasons for being in Greyhawk and Obsidian Bay. We will probably see more of those unfold as we go on. But for here in particular, he was looking for a piece of armor to upgrade his current status. And he got rounded up for just being an outsider, for just looking different. And he didn't particularly get to know the people he was interacting with at a personal level. He kept it very professional. So he didn't know any of their names when he said they're friends. So he went willingly. He calculated the odds of success and it was pretty slim, so he went willingly and taken it cool so far. Kept his right to remain silent and took it.
Awesome. Okay. So Zerk, looking enough like an outsider. If you don't know a whole lot about Greyhawk, or if you don't know a whole lot about Obsidian Bay, it's not as diverse as some of the other settings for games, especially for 5e. Sword Coast is a whole varied panoply of races and sub-races and lineages, and Greyhawk's not. Very much the skew is towards humans and towards elves and half-elves and dwarves and halflings. Beyond that, you're pretty exotic as soon as you look a little bit funny. So especially for something with Gith lineage, you're going to look pretty weird pretty fast. But he's already had fried calamari during the
Sure.
celebration, so it wasn't a terrible time.
No.
Okay. Do I have another brave soul, or shall I roll?
I can go next if I don't make it. If you don't have to stop you from busting out the teacher voice. My name is Will. I'm one of the GMs and the organizers here at Live from the Apocalypse. You may have seen me on some stuff here on the channel. I am playing Brand, who is a Fire Genasi monk. She does not have particularly strong elemental lineage, but it is there. So generally speaking, she looks fairly human at first glance, but she does have sort of very dark red patches all over her body that sort of resemble vitiligo patterns. And she has one very inhuman-looking red and yellow, almost lizard-like eye, and then one very normal-looking human green eye. Generally speaking, she is dressed very practically, maybe even a little shabby. She generally wears very large and baggy clothes. She is not a particularly large person herself, but she did grow up here on the streets of Obsidian Bay, and she carries herself with a certain amount of confidence as a result of that. She was arrested basically for not looking like she belongs, very similar to Zerk. And I believe she was actually interrupted right as a very important deal for her was about to go down, which she is not happy about.
It's true. Brand is in the process of procuring some art. A fine investment in days of an impending recession and all. Made a deal to pick up this art and to finalize payment. It was going to be wrapped and delivered, and then we were so rudely interrupted by dozens of city guard.
It's true. She put up a little bit of a fight, but not too much of one.
I mean, we wouldn't expect anything less from Brand. All right. So I believe that takes us to Sven because I just rolled a dice.
So I'm playing Toad. I am a turtle druid. But I'm confused as to why I was hauled in because I look like a normal human. Like just
Yeah, but you look poor.
Very generically brown human who's just come in from the road. So like was looking around for a ceremonial bowl that was stolen from my village a few months ago by some adventurers who didn't think to ask the locals as to why the bowl was in the middle of the shrine. And he had heard that the bowl might have been around here. So.
Absolutely. So right now, Toad doesn't look like a turtle. Everyone who's interacted with him in Obsidian Bay does not know that he is a turtle. You've acquired yourself a friend, which was awesome. Yeah. The festivities for Forgotten Marked have like a very different feel, whether you're in the outer ring of Obsidian Bay or the inner ring of Obsidian Bay. The market that has the more exciting, rare, enchanted artifacts is in the inner ring of the city, which is also home to all of the like illustrious families of lineage. So while you might look like a pretty beige human, you also look like a pretty beige human in need of a bath, and that would have set you off as maybe not a resident of this area. All right. So, Selena.
Hi. I'm Selena, and I am playing Beloth or Belle. She is a tiefling rogue. If she has her hood up, she can kind of sort of pass for human if her tail is tucked in. Her skin is kind of like a pale pinkish color with black like on the tips of her ears and on the tip of her tail. But with her hood down, she does have these large black and purple horns that come down around her ears, and she has rather unsettling black eyes. So she is in Obsidian Bay looking for a bounty. She's a bounty hunter, and is having some difficulty. So she's in the inner market looking for something that will help her either track down or capture her bounty. And she was rounded up with everybody else for the same reasons: wrong place, wrong time, doesn't look like a native. Despite attempting to sneak away, that did not work, and she didn't put up a fight to try and escape.
Okay. So if you're counting, this is the first of the sightings of Cricket. There will be many. I at some point will probably need to come up with a way to like mark this with donations or something. I think. Yeah. I think that needs to happen. So the only two of you who have been really acquainted other than seeing one another so far are Brand and Belle. And a lot of that comes from just the circles of society in which you move. While most of you are not native to this area or to Obsidian Bay, the two of you have been active in the city for long enough and in the sort of friends in low places circles of the city that you know of each other. So where we are now, having been taken by about 24 of the City Watch into one of the city jails in the inner ring. So, I mean, to be fair, it's significantly nicer than the ones in the outer ring would be. Like there's fresh straw on the ground, like, maybe some like peanut shells, but like soft footing. You've been dumped into a holding area. There are individual cells with cots and with little latrine chamber, pot, bucket. I mean, like, it would be kind to call it a toilet, but they don't put you in individual cells. They just sort of dump those of you that have been rounded up into the main holding area and then closed the barred metal doors. The guards don't look particularly antagonistic about this after having dealt a couple of bruises to Brand. After all, they made their show of force. Like we brought out the wooden batons, but like, no blades or threat beyond that. And they've been taken, just dumped. Their stuff is taken to storage. Anything that you had that was an overt weapon, or your purses, anything that you were carrying that was visible and not tucked within a pocket, was taken and dumped in storage. But they also didn't frisk all of you. Nobody, like, found every hidden knife or, the coin that you shove in the bottom of your shoe for a rainy day. It's just kind of dumped in the middle, and you're being taken with all group, like, kinds of people. There's a, like, frankly, very pacifistic looking monk style priest person with you that looks like they wouldn't harm a fly for, fear of divine retribution in what is basically rags. You have types that are more of the, like, adventurer style that just might have looked a little bit more prone to casual violence. But the thing that ties everyone together that's been in this holding room is that they're not very plainly humanoid. They're not wealthy looking, or that they look like they could sort of handle themselves in an adventurous situation. The city guard is frankly bored looking as they dump you in, and just kind of milling about. You wouldn't expect this many of them to be in the jail like this on a normal day, and it's clearly not meant to hold this many people all at once. We have more than you have cots of you waiting. And they didn't tell you really while you were here, other than that they were rounding you up. So you're hanging out and holding while the guards also look like they just kind of hang out. So you're locked in with the metal doors. You don't have access to your storage, but it is with where all of your items have just been kind of unceremoniously tossed on the top of tables, some of them on the ground. And there's enough of you that there's, like, frankly, kind of loot from this raid. We've got, people's weapons. Some of them are nicer looking than others, just kind of tossed, which is going to make one particularly swarthy looking gentleman unhappy. But they don't look like they've got a plan for you right now. So as you're locked in, the attention turns away from the prisoners and more to talking amongst themselves also. So you can see each other, but you can also see this group of other people milling about. Most of the rest of the group looks confused, and maybe shades of inconvenience headed from, like, mildly frustrated all the way up to just incensed, which would be that one gentleman who looks like his great axe is the one that's on the ground right now, which apparently is a grave insult. You didn't see him in the plaza necessarily, so you're not from where you guys were taken away from the festival, but you're here now. So give me an impression of how you're feeling, what you think you might do.
Zerk would probably stand in the back, and it would almost look like meditating. We would kind of just deeply calculating for a moment.
Belle's probably just leaning against one of the walls, keeping an eye on everybody, kind of gives a nod to Brand, but is biding her time and kind of just hanging out for the moment.
Okay.
Brand is
speaking of, sorry, will either of you be situating yourselves so that you can, like, hear what the guard conversation is going on? Are you going to be away from the doors, away from other people? Zerk kind of sounds like you're separating yourself, but are you in a place where you can surveil, or are you just getting to a quiet spot?
He's Zerk is thinking for the moment. He's taking a second to think.
Belle is probably keeping an eye on the guards, like, not, like, directly across from the door to where the guards room is, but sort of on the edge where she can, like, just keep an eye on how many of them there are, what they're doing, and how well they're paying attention to us.
All right. Brand?
Brand is pacing back and forth in front of the bars, and every so often just, like, is incensed enough to just sort of, like, bang the palms of her hands against the bars a couple of times, and yell at the guards, but nothing specific or targeted. Not really expecting a response either, but
okay.
She just can't
So
help herself.
nobody's mother is entering the conversation?
Not now,
Not
but
now.
definitely
Okay.
earlier. Like, I don't think she made any friends when they first brought her in.
Yeah. The guards are gonna laugh at this mostly. I mean, they're not standing right up next to the door. Nobody's like decided to put their face in swinging range, but there's still about 20 of them in that space. Like, it is packed in the like sort of receiving area. They're also not headed to their barracks or like away to storage. Like, you know, maybe one person was like made a comment about heading to the latrine and headed out, but we've got a dozen and a half, a little bit more, still hanging out in the front of the jail. And you know, they'll giggle a little bit as you slam the bars, but the door's not doing a whole lot of moving when you do that. All right, Toad.
Do you want to show the jail?
We absolutely can. There's a map for this. I apologize to the creator of this map because I don't remember who you are, but thank you. We appreciate your donation, kind of.
Toad is probably just sitting on the bed, staring at the floor, wondering, like thinking about what to do next, and occasionally looking up to see what everyone else is doing.
Okay. Toad is also not going to be able to be 100% silent in this because you brought somebody with you. Toad was adopted, for lack of a better word, by an enterprising businesswoman in his pursuit of this ceremonial bowl. So Toad has a goblin friend that was brought in with him. She doesn't appear terribly upset about the situation of being in the jail, but you can tell that she's like she's upset with the waste of time. So you've met Ninifreda, and she is basically like, if Toad's gonna sit on the ground, she's gonna do a nice like half circle in front of you over and over and over again about like, well, this was not in the plan. We were gonna get a meal. I remember distinctly that was the next part of the plan, and I'm hungry now, and time is money, and if I'm not helping you procure what you need, I'm also not selling anything in my store, and I swear, if I come back and anything is even the slightest bit missing, and my crossbow, this is like, maybe not necessarily for you as an audience, but you know, she's not happy about the situation either. But it's coming off as like a frustration of like this time rather than disrespect. Okay. So, like Toad, I don't know exactly what you're thinking right now, but actually, you know what? I don't know what you're thinking right now. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking, what was the point in getting a hold of this? And then I take off the little circlet and turn into the 7-foot turtle with mushrooms growing out of my shell.
I feel like our relationship has been founded on some untruths here. Toad makes a lot more sense as a name now, though. I thought your parents were just very cruel. Okay. And you're looking for a ceremonial bowl.
Yeah.
It's not a turtle shell, is it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, nice to meet your acquaintance, Toad. The like people immediately around you, like away from this like semicircle that she's been walking, will take a big ol' step back from what has now been revealed to be a significantly more dangerous looking individual. But they're keeping away from you in such a way that's also blocking the guards from seeing immediately the transformation that you just made. You certainly don't look anything more normal now than you did just a second ago. So it's not like you wouldn't have been put in jail. It just would have been for significantly different reasons. Yeah. Okay.
Can the rest of us see that transformation?
Yeah.
So
From
where you described that you are, I'm gonna assume based on where the walls that are available to you, if you didn't say that you were going back to like the cots, you can get some at least peripheral vision of, and you certainly saw the people do the move. So if Brand and Bell are not immediately next to one another, we'll say that I'm gonna go with Brand is probably closer to, because I have decided, Toad, that you are on the left side of our map. So Bella's not going to see as much of what, like, you're probably not going to see a turtle from where you are, but you are going to see people make the move backwards.
Okay.
And then Zerk, because you decided to whether you're paying attention to this or not is entirely up to you.
I would say at this point he's probably still just constant. Unless it was in his line of sight, he probably wouldn't have noticed. He's thinking he's something.
All right. Okay.
Would I be familiar enough with Bell, like, to know that you can pick locks? Like, that's a thing you know how to do.
Probably.
I think it's
I
a
mean,
fair assumption
Yeah.
anyway. Like, if you weren't sure, it'd certainly be enough to know to ask.
Sure. Then I will stop. Brand's gonna fall silent and stop antagonizing the guards for a second, and like hustle, like quick step over to where Belle is sitting, and kind of crouch down and say, "Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but they're very distracted."
The guards are
So-
distracted, or the people are distracted?
People.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought the
So-
guards hustled over because he looks more dangerous now.
they could
Okay.
be, but they didn't.
Okay. All right. Well, never mind then. I mean, in that case, I'm just gonna say. So I'm just gonna verify. So, can you get these open?
I don't know. Can I? Possibly. What do the locks look like? Can we see
So
them from
the hard
inside?
part about the lock is that the actual lock mechanism, like to stick a key in, is on the other side of the
Right,
door.
Yeah.
Now they're bars, like it's metal barred doors, and it's enough that you can definitely get a hand through, but you can't see where it would be you're putting your picks in, and it obviously wouldn't be terribly subtle for you to
Right.
be shoving things in from the other side. It doesn't look like a complicated door. It doesn't look like a complicated lock. The hard part's going to be either getting some form of just misdirection going on, or enough of the guards to leave, fall asleep, etc., that it doesn't matter.
Right. So I can possibly, but we're gonna need to distract the guards somehow.
It's also worth noting that the door to the storage room, the one from where you all are, is a heavier, solid wooden door with a same thing lock on the opposite side, not
Oh.
from where you are. So that one, getting your stuff that isn't currently on your person still, would be a little bit more of a to-do than just getting out of the holding cell.
Okay.
And that door is not going to, kindly fall over.
Zerk would like to do three things. He kind of gets up and walks to the bars. You take either pebble or a coin, something small, and I like to use magical tinkering and just tap it with the kind of edge of his finger, kind of lights up, and some small Gith writing etches onto it. And I like to just toss it just through the bars, just very subtly, just like I'm looking the other way, and just toss it through the bar, just see what happens.
Okay. It will. Is it still lit up when it lands?
Oh, it's not lit up. It just got etched into it. It's just they can put text instead of light, so I just put it like it's actually in Git that says this is a test, and just kind of just drops like an inch away from the bar, just through him, just really close.
The closest guard to the door is going to walk over to where you threw in a pebble, make a derisive face, and then kick it with his foot a little bit further away. But assuming it's a rock that's smaller than a fist.
Yeah.
Whatever. Nice try.
Yeah. That's fine. So
You're bored. I'm bored. Yeah. Okay.
It went through the bars. That's the important bit. And the third thing, if the guard is staring right at it, Zerk would wait to do this and wait till he turns his back. But I like to use Mage Hand, and as a Gith lineage, Mage Hand's actually invisible.
Mhm.
And just see if I can pick up that pebble.
Yeah, just
that's outside the bar.
grip
Just
it,
pick it up and put it
grip
down.
it,
Like not
baby.
move it anywhere. Just
Slop
see
that
what happens.
down, dude.
Thank you, donation.
Yeah, dude. Crack one for the big boy.
Okay. Karen, awesome. Okay. All right. If you're gonna wait, there's enough of them in there that finding an opportune time is gonna take a little bit of a Like
it can even just be like a nudge. It's like
Yeah.
someone said,
Oh,
like
okay, then-
just like nudge it, just see if it interacts through the bars.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If all you want to do is like have it rock a little bit or something on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah. Not a problem at all.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we're very
Uh,
analog here. This is just holding you.
Yeah.
It's almost like they weren't really concerned about like what was going to happen once you were in here.
At that point, if seeing now that I'm up and looking, if people are talking, Zerk would like to subtly say like stealth is less than likely with a group this size. What are our options?
Just to like whoever is near you.
Yeah, I would assume Brand or Bell if I saw them kind of muttering to each other.
I
would
you
check.
okay? And you did talk to convey like, do you have your, or are we just assuming at this point that you know that Bell can pick locks? So are you talking yet, or?
No, I would just seeing them colluding. I don't know what they're discussing.
I'm
but-
I'm asking if collusion is taking place. Please accept that this is the congressional committee, if you would. Has there been collusion?
I think we're talking at this point.
Okay.
I don't think a
Yeah,
plan has been
definitely.
made.
All right.
But I think it's more than fair to say that Zerk could just overhear what we're talking about.
sure,
Because
If you're not trying to hide it, it's not a
Well,
huge amount of space,
Brand-
and
Brand kind of thinks time is of the essence because whatever just happened with Toad was like maybe a good distraction. Turns out it wasn't. But yeah, she was not being as subtle as she could have been because she thinks it's a brief window. But yeah, Brand will look up at Zerk and kind of give him a once over and say, so you want out?
Yes, I do not like being bound, but I know there is patience can lead to greater rewards than acting quickly. But yes, I believe all of us are bound here unjustly, and freedom should be had by all. It's just what is the best route?
Okay. Well, that's a lot of high ideals for a prison break, but can work with it.
If it's a distraction we need, and I nod over to the big fella who's kind of drooling over his axe, I could get him out to his axe if you think that could cause enough distraction.
That could be a good start. Yeah.
When you say get him out to his axe,
Through
what
that
does that
door.
mean?
Yeah.
Through that
I can also get two people out.
are you joining the conversation, Toad?
I'm gonna boot over, realizing that don't want to be seen by the guards, and there are some people behind a thing.
I mean, the crowd will part if you stand up and start moving. So
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time before the guards recognize this change that has happened.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put the little tiara back on, and now I'm.
Wait.
Like,
Okay, you need to warn a girl before you do that again.
sorry, it's a
She's
thing I
gonna
can't.
like take a finger and like poke your stomach just to like see if it does it feel like
It's normal. I got a normal human stomach. It's squishy.
Okay, we'll have a conversation about this later. Okay, but for now, like,
Uh,
all right, can we be slightly on the down low for it? Because I feel like if they know that you're not you, we might have more of a problem than we originally did.
now I also look like a different human.
Mm-hmm. You do.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true. Did you want to give me, or do you want me to? Because
I'm like a Viking-looking that guy with a long beard now.
great. Like braided beards, anything?
Yeah, braided beard.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with tall, solidly built, fair-skinned person, very thick eyebrows, rosy cheeks, though, on the, like, do you have a tendency towards the drink? We'll never know. Like, longer braided beard, the nose is a little, like, bulbous, and, like, the beard is kind of hiding an otherwise somewhat feminine face. But, tall, solidly built, like, more rectangular around than your last human appearance. Ninifrida is not, like loving this change, but you've revealed an interesting thing, so she also feels protective of you at the moment, so she's gonna be like, all right, okay.
Well, they're doing things, and can we just quietly talk to those people? And then walking up to Braid as close as I can.
Well, you now have somebody that wasn't previously in the cell group with you, like, wander on up to say hi. And this, a very, like, frankly, somewhat indignant looking goblin in really brightly colored clothing.
Okay. This jailbreak is getting complicated.
What can I do to help?
Jailbreak? Did you see how many of them there are?
Yeah.
Oh, you already got beaten, didn't you? That was you, right?
I mean, if you want to call it that,
just a little. And
I
I understand that it probably wasn't a fair fight, and I'm sure you're more than capable, but, like, the bruise is probably smart, that's all I'm saying.
I can't afford to sit here. I am losing time on something very important.
That I agree with.
So I need to leave. If anybody else, I mean, they'll probably let you go. You didn't do anything wrong. None of us did. Eventually, they'll get bored, they'll run out of room, and they'll let you go. It's not my first time here. But I need to leave now. And if you want to come with me, you're welcome to. But every additional person makes this less likely to succeed.
I can get you out now, but you'll
So
owe
you
me a
said.
favor.
Says one of
DM,
my good aligned characters. Okay.
DM, quick question.
Yeah.
The loot pile, is that in the storage room or is that out in the visible for all of us?
It's in the storage room.
Okay, never mind.
There, in fact, like, you can't see into it right now, but
Okay.
there are definitely some of the guards that aren't currently, like, being observed by people, taking, like, handful of coin from everybody's purses, and yeah. Because, yeah.
And I'm assuming there's only one door in and out of the main cell block where we are.
So there's two. I can.
Well, one door that will
you're-
lead to, like, the outside, or can we get out through the storage room also?
So there's one that's going to lead you directly to the outside. It is not the same one that will lead you to the storage room.
Okay.
So, what's your name? I just turned towards Bran.
Yeah, if I'm going to owe you a favor, I'm going to need to know yours also and what it is you're doing here. I'm Brand.
Hi, I'm Toad. I'm looking for a bowl that was stolen from my village. If you help me find it later, I can get you out now.
Spoons me, but okay.
Also,
Yeah?
you might be able to help more on the outside. I don't know. I can get one or two people out of this thing.
So when you say out, do you mean other side of the bars or out of the building?
Out of the building. I think. So you have to cooperate. Are there windows that point outside?
Mm-mm. Not from where you are.
Well, it's not entirely. You'll
The
probably get out.
building's not, like, I mean, you were led in here, so it's not a huge building. You have at least an inkling of the idea of the exterior walls probably being from like behind where the cots and latrines are set up, the individual cells, that if like you're looking for a fastest way to exit just in terms of distance, that's probably the easiest way to get back onto street or the next building over, but there's probably an alley, right? And if you were to step forward through, say, the door, you could land in other room, but there's definitely more distance before you hit outer wall and street that way.
So-
Side to side is less of a little bit more of a gamble.
I can turn you into a gas cloud, and then you can just wander on out.
I don't think we know each other well enough for that, Toad.
You,
Gonna
you
be
don't
honest, not in the habit of letting strangers transmute me. No.
want to. Okay. Then Afraida, do you think you could help more on the outside?
Well, certainly, but I don't know if I would necessarily be helpful in the getting you out of. Like,
Okay.
I don't exactly look like the local countess. Do you have an idea of how I'm supposed to talk them into letting you out once I'm out? I mean, thank you. It would be nice to get back to my business, but I'm also somewhat attached to that crossbow. Just saying.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get the crossbow. Okay.
If we get someone out, how are they supposed to get everybody else out?
I've come up with the first part of the plan. Someone else can help.
That's true. You've been very helpful contributing.
If you possibly
If somewhat shellfish.
Zerk doesn't get the joke. If we use if you say pre chimes in though, if you use the gaseous cloud, someone could possibly pick the lock to the storeroom. We could
Yes.
get them in there and then
Yeah.
pick that from the inside.
I was about to say, if you can get me through that across to the other side of that door in the storeroom, I can most likely open it, but that gets to us to our stuff, but not out. So it's only half.
If you can get that door open, I can get the big guy with his axe.
And I could
do a
cause
distraction
another.
Yeah.
I could cause another distraction once you get the door open.
to get through the main. How many? I assume you can only. Okay. Getting through the cell door won't be trivial given the lock's on the other side, but easier to pick than trying to get through the storeroom door with the lock on the other side.
Maybe they keep a key in the storeroom. We don't know.
That's true. I mean, if someone wants to try and grab someone's keys while they're creating distractions, that would also be great.
Zerk also pulls out his armor, and then built into it there is a set of thieves' tools. And he's like, I am proficient as well with picking locks, and
Great.
puts it back in.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. Well, lucky arrest.
Quick, as we're about to go, I would just like to quickly use detect thoughts, just to kind of get a sense of where all the guards are in the room. Kind of.
All right.
The way Zerk perceives it, this is a Gith lineage spell. He kind of sees it like almost a heartbeat, but from the brain, like the brain activity like kind of goes down the spine, so he kind of sees the brains of everyone active in the room.
That's so deliciously creepy. I love it. Okay. Great. Okay, so you're not not looking for anything more than like surface thought, just like basically like where are there
just where
things
they
with
are.
consciousness?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. And because none of them are going to have an intelligence low enough not to get picked up on that one. Okay. And you don't want to actually delve, so they don't need to make a wisdom saving throw because you won't want to know what they're thinking about, just how many.
Yeah, just how many,
Okay.
where they're at.
And it's 30 feet?
It is detect thoughts. Why does it not say the range? 30 feet. Yes.
Okay. All right, from you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to go with, in terms of what this looks like also on different people, that if what you're looking for is just like almost a pulse of neurological activity, I'm kind of seeing like functional MRI kind of loveliness going on, which in that like the different areas of their brain and like the brainstem and like down into their peripheral nervous system is going to be like maybe like a different color or a different like almost like temperature to you depending on how worked up they are. So like Mr. Like I really want my great X right now is like clearly like more back of the brain and brainstem kind of activation at the moment in like bruising reds and purples. You've got in the holding area and then within what you can see with 30 feet. So, and I don't know if you can see my ping, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here, and in here, and then like 2 in here. It's a total of about 18 of them now. Like there's a couple that have cleared out, but it's still a dozen and a half. They're just from the just sense that you're getting. They're not on high alert. None of them are like really activated in that way. You're definitely sensing their presence, but the people inside are decidedly more agitated than all of the ones outside, to the point of boredom. Like there's not even expectation of. It's just like somebody's definitely thinking about cheese. Like that's like, you know, and like maybe the festival that they're missing. Like you're not getting a whole lot of flavor out of this, but you know, they're just not as activated if what you're sensing is the amount of energy that's going through their nervous system right now.
Sounds good. And then just to double check, was there a hit in the storeroom? Was there anyone in there?
Yeah, there's one still in there. There's another that looks like they've wandered into the latrine, but there's one in the storeroom still.
Okay, so I would convey that to, I didn't ask anyone's name, but I would convey it to the person we're going to gaseous form that there is one in there. We should take that into note if that changes things.
All right, and you're putting
Zerk doesn't
Bell
strike me as
into
somebody
gaseous
who
form, right?
asks for
Is the plan?
names.
No, he doesn't.
Sorry,
Ask for their function. What's your function?
what were you saying, Vicky?
Bell is the one that's going to be in gaseous form, right?
Yes. Although somebody being in there at the same time is problematic.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any way we can start a distraction before I go in there?
I can. Victoria,
Yes.
what is the most flammable looking thing in the in eyesight?
And what you can see. Okay. So that's a lovely question. All right. You can't really see into the like guards quarters over here. The door has is wooden as well as having the bars, so you can pretty much see into this room and then these guys. These are some lovely like bookshelf looking things. These are like wooden benches. So both of those would serve if you're talking about setting something on fire. The bookshelf bits over here, in addition to being wood, have things that are made out of paper on them. And it's a smaller room from what you're able to see. So whether that changes your, it also has fewer guards in there currently.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get that, it has to be within 30 feet of me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As long as you're not
looks
standing
like-
all the way
yeah.
back, like by the
Cool.
like last cots, you're within. This is
Cool.
not a huge space.
So then, as surreptitiously as it is possible to do this, Brand is going to hold up one of her hands and produce flame. So a small flickering flame appears in her hand, and she is kind of going to like underhand lob it into that area with the bookshelves, in the
Okay.
hopes that they are both flammable and important.
All right. Because you're aiming for something, if you would roll an athletics for me, please. It's not going to be particularly difficult because we're talking about like skee ball effectively right now, I think.
Yeah.
But and you don't need it to be perfectly on target. It just needs to be close-ish. Yeah.
No problem. It's going to be...
Okay.
That is a 9.
All right. So you're gonna get it near a bookshelf, for certain, but it's gonna like land because the like produce flame is like you're talking about, like you said, smaller. Yeah, like in my head I'm thinking like the size of like a mandarin orange, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so. Well, it does 1d8 damage if it hits a person. So
yeah, but that's intensity of flame as much as so this is gonna start
fair.
a little bit, but it's not gonna go up in the dramatic fire immediately that it would have if you'd like landed a direct hit. So it's gonna take a little bit of a minute. The 9's gonna, like I said, like hit like the very edge of the bookshelf. So instead of hitting paper, which is what would have caused at least a immediate dramatic blaze, it's gonna take a second to have to get to something to cause smoke. And so while you're waiting for this fire, what are y'all doing? And how sneaky are we actually effectively being?
If
Yeah.
if Zerk sees that the flame is near something flammable, it's within 30 feet, he can use Mage Hand invisibly and kind of pull paper or whatever closer to it. Just get something like more flammable on top of the fire that's already going.
Okay. All right.
And after, go ahead.
Okay.
Nope. Go.
So as the two of you are like staring into this side room with the bookshelf, and fire makes a sound while it is not yet, especially as Zerk brings over a part of a book onto the flame. That noise is going to immediately draw the attention of, we'll say, two of the guards that were like in the like receiving area with these benches, like just before you get into the holding cell. They're noticing that you are paying attention to, and then also now this start of sound. So they're gonna recognize that it's happening before it gets loud. Because I just rolled a nat 20. So they're like gonna sound up the like oi, like with the, and indicate who it looks like is staring to the rest of their fellows, who are like, the reaction almost is one like grumbling rather than like upset at the like the sense of like it's books, like the whatever, it's ledgers or something, we don't need those. All right. But the like, this was supposed to be an easy day, right? Like, I'm supposed to go hang out with my family after this and eat mulled wine and pretzels, and like, God damn it, now I've got this. While like 4 of them go rushing into the library to stomp out this flame that you've caused. It's gonna like take some bumbling, and there's gonna be some Benny Hill music going on, and like somebody's gonna singe their jacket really badly as they like throw it on top of and stamp it out. But the other effect that you've caused is that the other people in the holding cell, some of them are very clearly doing the like, oh, fuck no, I don't want anything to do with this. And just like kind of like backing up and being like, nope, that was them. They are the troublemakers. I'm fine. Please let me go home. And then about 3 of them that look like, yeah, this is what I wanted, including Mr. Great Axe. Not Big Axe. That's also not his name. You haven't met him yet, so I can't say his actual name. But the 3 of them that are like, oh heck yes, like what are we starting, like, so you'll have 2 like just sort of honest, like lesser than intelligent looking thug types that as soon as the Great Axe gets interested in what's going on will be right there with you, and the fellow that previously had been holding this axe is going to immediately go, all right, what are we doing?
I will turn to him. I say, I can reunite you with your weapon. Just when it comes time, do not resist.
That's that you're asking a lot of trust from me, Mister.
Zerk is my name, and
No,
if
you're definitely not from around here. All right.
If you'd like to see your weapon again, just do not resist when it comes time. And
that better not be a threat, Zerk. All right. And he's going to like grasp your forearm over your armor and like give you like a shake. You're getting the sense that this is a like half of it, like, yeah, I agree to like follow you on this plan, but also like, how much of a problem are you going to be if I punch you? Like that feel. Yeah.
And then I would like to go to Belle and cast guidance and say, these locks seem pretty simple, but do not underestimate it. And you have a D4 for your next ability check.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, friend.
All right. The guards are not immediately streaming into the holding cell. You've got about 4 of them that are like now grabbing their like, okay, once again, not like bladed weapons. We've got like the wooden batons still, but they're like still on the other side of the door because now there's enough of you and you're organizing and fuck that they're gonna be like that, like, you do not need to start things. Like, that's not what this is about. Like, if you will hold your peace, you will get out of here just fine. And, like, the threat is there, but yeah.
I want to add to this by using Druidcast to make their the guard room smell like skunk fart.
Like, there's gonna be like a woman in the back that I guess is gonna be like, all right, that's just rude. Yeah, you didn't make it any better, but like they recognize the, for lack of a better word, mischief of it. Okay.
So we're gonna need
So what's the
another
action?
distraction, right?
Yeah.
Because Belle can still go into the storeroom, but as long as unless the guards are occupied.
Yeah, they're
Which I guess
staring
they
right at
are
you. So if you're
currently.
having this conversation, like,
Yeah.
they hear
No, I'm
you.
just sort of thinking. I'm just sort of
Okay.
thinking
Well,
out loud, out
so-
of character.
To that end, which I was going to do as this was all starting, since I know Brand, we're gonna assume that this isn't totally gonna freak you out. I'm gonna cast Psychic Whispers and just like in your head, my eyes like flash like purple briefly, kind of like a cat's eyes when reflection, a light hits them, and then you're gonna hear, "Hey, Brand," just so we can talk for a bit without arousing anybody's suspicion. And yeah, Psychic Whispers. Or
Convenient.
let's see, how long can I do this? Come on. Either 1
Okay.
hour or 5, whichever one you want to pick, because I don't know how to roll.
We'll go with you rolled the same, the correct die on each of them. We'll go with the 5, just so it's actually successful.
Oh no, that's just how long.
Oh, okay. So
We're
the
connected
D8.
for.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Sorry, I thought
So-
that was a D20 for a second. No, you're good.
No. So 5 hours.
Okay.
I mean, either way is more than enough time, hopefully. Okay, so if you want to talk to me now, you can.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I think I'm gonna do something stupid.
Hopefully not too stupid. We're trying not to get killed here.
Well,
Go
they're gonna be
ahead.
all over you if
just-
I don't. So
True.
So the whispers also, in addition to letting you talk to one another, when you said, do you mean dissonant whispers, or are we talking about something else? Because dissonant
is-
whispers is painful.
Right. No, this is Psychic Whispers from Soul Knife,
Okay. All right.
which
it's a
I don't
feature, not a
actually know if
spell.
it's
Good.
two-way communication.
Yeah.
I could
Okay.
be wrong
Okay.
about that.
Give me a second,
Yeah.
but yes.
It's not clear from what I'm reading.
well, either way, at that point, I'm going to look over at Toad and say, just be ready to cast that spell and get her into the storeroom. And then I'm going
Pardon? The
sorry,
audio
did
is
you,
really cutting
out of
out for me,
character?
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, it was cutting out. All right.
I know I didn't.
Yeah. I said, be ready to cast this spell and get her into the storeroom.
Okay. Then I back up a little bit and take off a little tiara, so I'm back into total form.
And the guards are gonna have that like crap reaction of like, and you'll get like a one of them will just go, look, we're only holding you, like if you would just like deal with it, you get let in shifts in the morning. Just Like, be chill.
Insight check.
Before he finishes talking, Brand is going to march up to the big guy and shove him and say, "What the fuck did you say about me?" And then just haul off and punch him in the jaw.
Okay. I love it. All right, fantastic. So he's not expecting it, so you're gonna hit. I don't need you to roll for that. Are you pulling your punch at all, or are we like?
For her, she is, but I don't think that's evident. Like, she's not pulling it enough to clue him in. She needs this to be convincing. So,
Delightful. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So he's initially gonna have that reaction of like, "What did you say to me, you little?" And then, like, upon getting it on the jaw, you're gonna see that, like, almost like psychotic grin start of like, even if she's being serious, this is gonna be fun. And like, I said that your mother like had you in a sow pen when you came squirming out, that you must have rolled in the muck a little too much and swallowed some of it into your brain. And he's gonna grab like your shoulders and lift you up a little bit. Like the it's been included on his face that he knows that this is like not a serious fight, but that does not make it any less fun. And frankly, even if you're just doing it for entertainment, like, he's on board. Grab you about the shoulders and lift.
I'm going to say that Brand like returns that same psychotic grin and maybe even says very quietly so that only he can hear, "Make it look real."
You got a little one. So like, he's not tall. He's at least partially dwarven, but like, he's solidly built in a way that even the former now appearance of Toad, when he had his like Viking suit on, for lack of better words, like solidly definitely describes. So this like lift is like, I mean, it's by the shoulders, so it's uncomfortable. You got a little bit of a like crush going on, but honestly, like, what a fine like dance partner this band would have made at a different time. So he's gonna lift you up and like shake you a little bit, and then do a like give you an eyebrow, and then kind of toss you backwards. So like, however you want to land, like, feel free. But what are the rest of you doing while your friend has decided to engage the,
I'm just gonna look at Toad real quick and be, point of clarification, how long am I going to be vapor? And how will I turn back so I can actually pick this lock quietly so the guards can't hear me?
Well, I'll hopefully be able to see. When you go into the storeroom, you'll disappear into the storeroom, and then I will stop concentrating on it, and you'll pop back into yourself.
Okay.
Or an hour if I keep going for an hour, forever.
Yeah, let's not do that, because that won't be helpful. Can I move myself as a vapor?
You move very slowly.
Give me like 30 seconds to make sure I'm away from the door and not in anything. Once I disappear through the door.
Okay.
15 seconds.
So yeah, make sure you're through the door completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And like, when he turned, I kind of like stumbled back, not entirely unfeigned, like, so I'm a little bit closer to the door.
Okay.
Zerk would position himself so he had line of sight on the big guy and the storeroom. Anywhere you can have, like, just, it could be totally separate, whatever, because this you can see both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a bonus action, he'll like hit his left wrist, and a blue aura will go around his body and do a defensive field, 5 temporary hit points.
Okay.
He's like, there's likely to be an altercation.
All right. And Toad, other than talking to Belle? Any
I'm just standing there waiting for the word to do the thing.
All right. But waiting for the word, you didn't decide on a word, so we're waiting on
I don't, no one was told. I was told to
be ready.
do the thing later.
Okay.
I'm ready.
As this guy tosses Brand. The like 4 guards that were ready to enter into the room are actually gonna like unlock and step into the door with the wood clubs, because like we have bigger problems and a lot more paperwork if one of these people expires while they're here. Like, I don't care that you're fighting, but like I don't want to have to deal with your like bloody corpse later on. So they're gonna do the like step in and then just give that like united front of like, are we really doing this right now, you stupid people? And you've still got like a couple of them just kind of muttering of like, this was supposed to be simple, they're just supposed to get off of the streets.
Does it look like, sorry.
Yeah.
Does it look like have any more guards like shown up in like guard area?
Not from outside, but like you have a couple of the people that were not immediately visible are now like crowding back in.
Okay.
And the like 3 that went to put out the fire are still in that room, like, you know, they're not like picking up necessarily, but like the stuff that got damaged enough that it has to be thrown away is like making its way into a pile, and now they're like muttering about how much work this actually turned out to be. Like, you know, not worth the extra coin that we're getting for this endeavor today.
I'll look at Zerk and be like, I don't suppose you can do your trick again and let us know if the storm's cleared.
No, I cannot. That's over. That's
Okay.
once a day.
Yeah.
He goes, no.
I figured that would be too easy. Okay.
But he does say it's only one, and as soon as you get the door open, you will have backup.
Fine, but I have to get the door open.
You do.
And hopefully knock it. Yeah.
Guidance again if it's worn off, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how long it lasts.
I think it's a minute, but
Okay.
yeah, the cantrip.
Brand, do you stumble backwards after you've been tossed? Are you like doing a pitfall? Are we gonna like flip back onto your shoulders and then bounce up ready to go for the like, no, we're gonna, all right.
No, I'm not that kind of monk. I absolutely stumble back and I make as big a show of it as I possibly can. And I'm going to try to pull any other like rough and tumble looking types into this conflict as I do. So like bump into somebody, elbow them in the gut if I can, just like try to antagonize as many people as I can.
There aren't a lot of rough and tumbles, but there's like people that clearly were on the fringes of that like more priestly looking person has like backed completely away back into the area with the cots of like, you know, this is not my bag. But as you go down, you can grab like somebody's belt or whatever and pull them down with you. They're not fighting types. This is honestly people that are like, look like they're unhoused and look like they're just not of the like lineage that would typically be important or carry any kind of power in the city. So as you're like pulling one down, I'm gonna go with our Toad's goblin friend is gonna recognize like what's going on with this nonsense and like, all right, in for a penny, in for a pound. And she's gonna come over and just try and hit you across the face. For like, you know, like, what'd you say to my boyfriend? And like hit you not hard at all. Like it's almost like a theatrical slap, like, you know, made for sound and not for hitting. But and the dwarf is gonna just like that booming like belly laugh of like, you know, oi, I said she was born in a pigsty. Like, what did she say back? And start like marching up to you. The guards that are now in, like 2 of them are gonna head to try and like at least block his path to get to you guys, and the other 2 are just gonna like stare around the room, be like just try and get yourself added to this, go like, and most of the rest of the holding cell is doing the like, no, I don't want any part of it, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. So you have now 2 other people that have been engaged. You have the 2 like general thug bits that just want to cause enough mayhem that this is a fun like reason for them to be off of the streets. When they get back to their buddies, they're gonna tell a story and like, this is how I got this. Isn't that fun? And then you have your Mr. Great Axe that's like, this is a grand plan. I don't even care what you're doing. And now Ninafreda is invested because at least that means maybe we'll get out of here and also yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I could roll if you want me to, but the whole purpose of this is for it to be like showy.
Yeah, no, you haven't done anything
Okay,
yet that
cool.
like is gonna require, other than maybe like to like theatrically relap to that slap. If you want to do a performance roll, I'd be fine with that. But the point being, are we turning Belle into a gas cloud?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
well-
just
So there are 4 guards that are in, and at least 2 of them are paying attention to the fight. Are the other 2? Are they looking at us? Because like we're kind of, I assume, like off in the not corner, but like trying to be unobtrusive. And if I just
they're-
immediately go poof,
Yeah, no, they're looking around. So like if you
Okay.
turn into a gas cloud, those 2 are definitely going to notice. There's more behind them. They're just kind of waiting for whether or not this is a big enough fight to have to come in. But you've drawn attention now of like, I mean, you can't count accurately, but at least most of them are either in like dealing with the aftermath of fire or like readying themselves if they need to get involved.
Okay.
So it might be that once you get there, it's now perfectly clear, but you do have a lot more eyes on you right now. For if you change into a gas cloud, there's gonna at least
I
be
like-
a reaction to that.
well, can I like slip behind Toad, who's in turtle form now, right? And just
Mhm.
like, so I'm not like immediately in a like line of sight with anybody, and have him cast it while I'm
Sure, you want to roll
And then I
stealth
just
for me
sort of
because
disappear.
you are
Sure.
doing this while you have eyes on you, so
okay.
it's not a guaranteed success, that one.
Yeah. So 20, right?
Mhm.
Oh, that's helpful. And that's Dex. So 16.
Okay.
If I
yeah.
wanna do
I
another
was gonna say, I was
D4
like,
for
that wasn't a great
guidance,
roll, but
but-
you have a very high dex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with like the moving behind the turtle portion of things. Like you're gonna get a couple of those guards that are ready to like get into action. They're gonna notice you moving behind, but like there's that.
I have like my
Like-
hands up as like I'm. Just
Yeah,
trying to
like
get away
it's
from
all right. They're like they're
yeah.
getting out of the fight. Fine. So they know that that's where you went, but not necessarily thinking it's an unusual action.
I just don't want them to be able to see me now. Unless they don't come towards me, we're good.
Yeah.
Hi.
After you get behind me, there's a little purple lion's mane looking mushroom on my left shoulder that goes poof, and you turn into a cloud. It just sort of releases some spores.
Okay.
I was gonna say, please tell me what this cloud looks like. And yeah,
And-
is it purple?
Mm.
Is it in the shape of a mushroom? What do we look like?
Well, Belle has to decide how the shape of the cloud is because
Sure.
they're moving with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like, spores from mushrooms.
Ah, okay. All right. So we'll go with like, regardless, it's got like kind of a
the
gray
little
cast to it.
greenish, yeah, greenish
okay.
gray cast nice thing. Blends in okay with the bland stone.
Yeah, no, that's not a like. And if people are starting to move around, like there's enough loose dust, etc., and like detritus on the ground that the like dustiness not an unusual condition with, and it's not super brightly lit. So yeah, okay. So the gas cloud is not. How do we move it though? Is the question, because that's not the most effective mode of travel. So
She can move 10 feet.
Mhm.
With her.
Is that including dashing or no?
Movement speed is 10 feet.
Okay.
And you can move through very small cracks.
And I
yeah.
can just like will myself to move.
You can will yourself to move and will yourself to like get through the keyhole of the door or the
Are
window.
you going to help? Either, well, probably not Brand at this point, but in terms of either Toad or Zerk, like you have what looks like a cloud of spores, and you're trying to get it maybe underneath the door, like in like through the door jamb, or like do you have
I'm-
something that say could help?
Not particularly. I'm gonna let the brawl do its thing. I'm just standing back. I'm just not interacting
Okay.
at all. I'm just
All
thinking
right.
I just want to keep line
Not
of sight on
helping
the big
block,
guy.
just yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna
And the
slowly
storeroom.
float towards the door.
All right.
Hopefully make it through the cracks and keyhole.
Great. Okay. I'm not going to put you in initiative, Brand. unless we're trying to get too fancy about this, because there is really only one show in town right now. So as you are like going to pull people down, you've successfully landed one other person who was not part of this fight, like to stumble down next to you but they don't look like they want to get added to the combat. They just look like they're like, what the fuck, man? And like pull back a bit. So if you're actively going to continue to try and like make them part of the distraction, you are going to have to like do something to make that happen. But Ninafreda is fine with being in the middle of this and causing more drama. Combat wise, not sure how helpful she's going to be right now, but like in terms of being loud and annoying, she got that down. So yeah, the Mr. Great X is going to like, stomp up closer to you, like blatantly ignoring the guards that are trying to get like closer to pull him off, like gonna like, I feel like almost like shrug off like that, like, you're not grabbing me right now, I got business to do, and get like right up to where your boots are and be like, I said that you were born in a pigsty and you're gonna let me say that, like, and now the disrespect to my woman, and he's gonna lift up a knee real high and like go like he's gonna stomp on your foot, but same thing, like making full eye contact with you, like this is, like whether you take actual damage here is kind of up to you, but yeah.
Right. I'm gonna take the opportunity to headbutt him in the nose, and send him back a couple of steps, and then I'm going to grab Ninfreda by the front of her shirt or tunic or whatever she's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, if you like her so much, go get her. And I'm going to try to hurl her over the guards' heads and out of the cell.
Awesome. Please, I think that's going to be athletics simply because it's strength based. I don't know how you could, yeah. Okay. So please, if you would, to hurl our goblin friend, who was not planning this, when you pick her up by the almost like the straps of her dress, like that's over top of, like she has like a chemises kind of thing underneath it, like it, like the look on her face goes from like, oh yeah, I'm in this, to like, oh crap, real fast. So she's gonna make a completely unsolicited like yelp of surprise as you lift her up. So please, if you would, attempt to throw your friend bodily across the room.
It's nothing more convincing than the truth. I got a 17.
Nice. Okay. So you're like, we're also aiming. So you want to get her through the door into where the guards have been?
Yeah, basically just out of the cell so she can like run around and they'll have to chase her and more Benny Hill shenanigans will ensue.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So with a 17, you're definitely going to get her through the door. She's going to kind of like bodily hit one of the guards along the chest. So you've got like 2 or 3 of them now that are going like, oh crap. And having to like catch her and make sure that she's not, going to die. She will dramatically pretend to faint, and like just be dead weight on top of them. And you like managed to do a not completely faked, like head snap back from Mr. Great Axe. He's going to like shake his head and, little itty bits of blood from his nose that is now, like got a nice little leak going on. And try and stomp up back next to you. The 2 guards that were on him is now basically 3 guards because 1 is still doing the, like, I'm watching the crowd, but 3 of them are like, oh, crap, okay. And they're going to attempt to at least somewhat subdue him. So I'm going to see how successful that is, but it would help if I knew where my tab was. It's fine. I'm certain no one, like, listening, watching has any, experience at all with having too many tabs, either figuratively or literally open.
Nope. Certainly.
Nope, never.
Not me.
Yeah, that's only a me problem. Understood. Okay. Okay. There's 1 that will be actually successful in causing a bit of a... Oh, no, 2. I take it back. In causing some hindrance to your new sparring partner. The 3rd, like, he like backhands to the side, and they're looking like, you know, at least momentarily stunned from being useful in the fight. But you do have two that are going to kind of grab onto his arms. Now, as a distraction, this works great, but he's not going to be any immediately help for you if you were to say fight them or. All right, Gas Cloud has now had enough time to at least get, like, we'll say, through the door. Or close enough through the door if we're not going to help with that, because we've had maybe 6 seconds, a little bit longer to get through, which, you know, yeah, you're moving along. So if you drop your, or if you have now, if she wanted 15 seconds, you got to wait a lot longer during this shenanigans in order to drop the like concentration of the spell and put her back into her normal form. So the question is, do you wait?
I do wait. So I can't see the guard that's in the room. I just know he's there because Zerk said so.
Or at
The
least
guard that's in the
was at the
storeroom.
point where
Was
you
there.
did detect
Yeah.
thoughts. You've caused a lot of stuff since then.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible that that's now one of the guards that's in the receiving room. You don't know which one.
Yeah.
So like, might there still be somebody in there? Yeah, but like, frankly, if that person is still in there, they're shirking their duty. Like, whoa, you know. But like,
So I'm just step back and watch the show.
okay, Zerk, are you gonna attempt anything or no?
If I see the spore cloud get to the storage room, haven't seen it hit there yet. Then I would just wait for it to open. I'm just sitting and waiting for that. As soon as that door opens, I mean, the cell door to our cell is currently open, correct? Because our goblin friend just got launched out.
Mhm. Yeah, the barge door from the receiving area with benches, like basically where you would get like processed normally, is open. That's where most of the guards are. And now there is a, like, you know, squeaking goblin pretending to be swooning from this throw, also in there. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep on waiting for that. Once soon as that door's open, then come back to me. But I'm waiting for that.
So if I'm through the door now, I assume I can perceive something. I don't know how the spell works. Can I perceive if there's any guards in the storeroom with me?
Yeah, you should be able
To be able to tell. Yeah, or yes. I'm assuming your perception doesn't change.
Yeah.
I don't
You
have the
just
spell in
can't
front of me.
they-
talk or interact with anything.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
fine. I just want to, if there is a guard in there and I have enough time, I would like to try and like float slowly.
There isn't
like,
a guard
like
in there
behind-
anymore.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I'll just hang out by the door until
Yeah.
I become corporeal again.
All right. So, Brand, you can continue to engage in this fight. You have your unwilling participant that's like, you know, when you got up and headbutted somebody, is more or less like scrambling backwards to get out the hell of your way. You have your now like slightly bleeding and being pulled backwards semi-opponent, sparring partner, and like performance friend. Like also enjoying the crap out of this. Like there's like almost
Obviously.
a giggle like that's bubbling forth now, that not only is it that like you're bringing an actual like entertaining farce of a fight, but now I have two people on my arms, and like this is the whole reason I went to the gym the other day. Like, whoa. So yeah, what's your next step? Like helpfully, like he can't swing at you at the moment. Not really.
True. I'm going to swing at him though, but I'm going to miss on purpose and hit one of the guards holding his arm.
Great. Okay. Yeah.
They're
Let's,
they're not invested enough in this brawl.
Excellent. Okay. For those of you who are actually going to participate, and Belle, you're not going to be able to do this one, would you roll initiative for me? If you are definitely not going to engage in the fight, you don't need to. But if you're planning on helping from the sidelines, either Toad or Zerk, would you also roll initiative for me?
I got a 14.
I got a 15.
Okay. Those of you... No, 14 would still beat him. Okay.
12.
Great. Oh, hey. Guards did better than I thought they did. Okay. All right. And remind me one more time. That was... Toad, you got a 12.
Yep.
Brand? Brand?
15.
15? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And Zerk, did you roll?
14.
Thank you. Zerk, how's your dexterity?
Plus 2. 14.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So one of the guards is going to go, but this is going to be the one that you didn't hit. That guard is going to... it's holding on to Mr. Great Axe's arm, but going to take the club and swing at you. So I'm going to go with it's going to be a disadvantage because they're still trying to kind of do two things at once, and that's not a good plan. So will a 15 hit? Or sorry, 19 hits, I'm assuming. Yeah?
19 does hit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. You're going to get hit with 6 bludgeoning damage from that baton.
He already had disadvantage, right?
Oh, I'm sorry for the...
I thought you said that.
I did. So 15 would be the other one. So does 15 hit?
15 does not hit.
Okay. All right. Never mind. We're going to take that forward swing in the process of trying to hold an arm at the same time is just going to cause their whole body to do one of those lean forwards and swirls. So we've got a nice little stumble and as this baton swishes past the meat of your upper arm there. Okay. Which puts Brand is next. So what do you do?
Very exciting. Okay. I'm not trying to injure anybody. So yeah, I'm not trying to injure anybody. So I'm just gonna try to punch him. And I'm not gonna do anything extra or fancy, at least
Okay.
at the moment. Not great, but also not terrible. That's a 14.
Okay. 14 meets it. So yeah, you managed to hit him.
Nice.
Okay. AC's not fantastic. That's fine. So you're hitting, but you're pulling the damage.
Well, I'm not gonna do any of my fancy monk stuff that would let me hit
okay.
him 5 times in a turn or anything like
All right.
that.
You can roll for damage if you so desire, but if you're not trying to kill, I also don't think you would potentially manage to kill him, but feel free.
Yeah. Definitely not trying to kill him, but I will do 7 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can tell that there's a little bit of surprise of that much. Not that that's massive, but frankly, you're smaller. And, I thought that you were just pulling some nonsense. All right, okay. There is a glimmer of both shock and respect that goes through our friend's face on this one. One of the other guards is going to attempt to grapple. And I'm going to say they're going to attempt to grapple him, which is probably not going to be the greatest. Yeah, no, they do not do that at all. Okay. That guard's going to get flung off as the other one misses. Zerk, what would you like to do?
Zerk is still posted up in his position waiting for the door.
Okay.
But as an action, he is going to cast Mirror Image. So 2 little camera projectors pop off the shoulders and 3 more Zerks pop into the room, mimicking his movements and just trying to add a little more chaos to the fray.
Great. They're not going to do it yet, but some of the guards that are still waiting to kind of get into are now going to be and they're gonna get ready to move into the room. They can't do it just yet. But yeah, that's oh crap. Like we have a full-on situation here. All right, Toad?
So once I don't think it's big. Is the room big enough that if I made those guards trying to get in, who were in the other room, I slowed them down with difficult terrain, would it help much? Like how big is the room?
I mean, it would certainly add to the chaos. So if we want to do difficult terrain, the other question is are you going to have to drop the gas cloud regardless?
She's in the Belle's in the room, so I'm thinking.
But originally we said we were going to wait, so.
So.
Okay. So if you're going to make difficult terrain happen, where would you like to put it? And cat number 2. Not cat number 2. Same cat sighting number 2. Market people. All right. The like difficult terrain, depending on where you put it, it's going to cause a different reaction. So where in the room do you want to put this difficult terrain? And Belle is going to be unceremoniously dropped from this gas cloud, I imagine.
Well, there was no ceremonial way
to drop
them.
Yeah. All right.
I'm hoping to put it at the door so that like targeting a guard to restrain that guard, and then hopefully the rest of the guards have a harder time getting into the room.
Got it. Okay. All right. All right, that's fine. What does it look like when you, like, are you imagining the, like, cobblestones rippling? Like, what will it look like for you to make it difficult terrain?
It's entangled, so up on, like, a big slime mold comes up and starts big slime mold making the ground quite slippery, and and trying to grab one of the guards and hold him down.
That sounds terrible.
To make a strength roll, strength 15.
Okay. There'll be one that's directly affected by this, so let's see how they do. 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. All right, great. So one of the guards that happens to just be right there has this just disgusting non-animal grossness appear. And in the both slipperiness and then a little bit of like just the panic of like, this is absolutely disgusting. They're gonna fail that strength and slip, which of course will then mean it's now like it's on me kind of a feel. And the insight, like in the resulting, like, trying to rub it off of themselves, etc. And like the two people that are like, do I help? Like, but like if it's something dangerous, like I don't want to touch that either. It's just gonna mean that it's harder for more of them to get through this, which is good because you now basically have the 4 of them that are in the room and then a gaggle that are maybe gonna get in at some point. All right, Belle, that is going to mean that you're going to drop from your gas cloudness. So like it's going to dump you on the floor more or less, but
that's fine. Just
you again.
Perfect. Just check briefly, make sure nothing is stuck anywhere. Made it fully through the door. And then while I was still a cloud, I made a quick scan of the room. Nobody's there, so
nobody's there right now. Yeah. So you made a little bit of noise doing the like dropping, but there's enough stuff going on that it's certainly not going to send like a bevy of them pouring over. So but yes.
Yeah, no, I'll keep an eye on the door that leads out, but I'll immediately turn to the lock and start picking.
Okay. So you're not going to like close the door to the, just keeping an eye?
Is it open?
Yeah.
I'll quickly walk over to it and just kind of peek around the corner and see if I see anybody. And if there's nobody in the other room, I'll close it.
With a quick scan, no, nobody that was like immediately watching the door frame. Like you can't guarantee that there's none of them nearby, but there's nobody that's watching, like obviously watching you do this.
I'll just gently close the door.
Okay.
and then go back to the door to the cell block.
Okay. And start picking the lock?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So you're welcome to attempt to try that one for how successful we're going to be, or at least how successful we're going to be quickly. But while that's happening, then I've got one more guard after Toad that is going to attempt to cause some ruckus, or really rather the opposite of ruckus, which is that you've got one that wasn't involved in the fray. This one's going to take a look at let's see, which of you will we put some emphasis on? I'm gonna go with that one's going to attempt to like kick. I have to call him Mr. Great Axe now because I keep wanting to say his actual name, but you haven't introduced yourselves. You just have hit each other a bunch. I'm gonna try and like kick him in the and all right, manages it. Okay, so one of the guards is gonna come and like try and basically like kick the back of his knee to get him to, land unceremoniously, and does manages to connect. To get now, Mr. Great Axe is gonna like fall on the one knee and bring the other two like guards that are holding him are gonna have just a little bit of a better grip, but are still gonna like take a little bit of a stumble down with him. Is probably closer to like not even like you weren't far from eye level anyway, like probably a little bit below you, but now we've got a nice like maybe 4 foot to face now from the floor, as he's laid at least partially on a knee. He is also really unhappy with that in the way that everything before this was at least kind of amusing, even if it hurt. Now we're pissed off. All right. So, how do we do with the picking of the lock in terms of first attempt?
I rolled an 18 plus.
Okay, yeah. All right. So lock's going to click. It is not a complicated mechanism, so that definitely succeeds. Do you open the door?
I'm going to use my psychic whispers because I know I can at least send a message to
It's
Brand.
communicate telepathically. I looked it up, so
Okay,
you should
so
be able to
it
talk
is-
to each other. Yeah,
Perfect.
just fine.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let Brand know that be like open, and then kind of crack the door open just slightly, so I can kind of like, if Zerk is paying attention, he'll hopefully notice, but hopefully nobody else does. At least
Okay.
none of the guards, because they're focused elsewhere.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna like open the door.
Yeah. All right. I mean, it's an old door, so if you really want to do this without like any kind of indication, plenty of stuff going on, so like it wouldn't be a high difficulty. But I'm gonna go with we maybe want some sleight of hand to do this without making it super noticeable. You have enough eyes on anything right now.
That's an at 20.
Yeah, you're okay. You're fine. Yeah, no, it's smooth as butter. All right, like this is a squeaky hinge that hasn't behaved for anyone in the past of, but you have the touch. Yes, so it will nicely open, like just maybe like 2-inch space of. It's not well lit on the side of the storeroom either, so it's not like you like send a beam in. And like with a nat 20, you maybe like nicely catch Zerk's eye on the other side. Now that you've opened the door. Okay.
Yep.
All right. One of our guards would go first. So now that just at the top of the round, this one's going to attempt to hit our non-friend friend with the swarthiness before you have it, and manages it. Okay. So guard's gonna hit Mr. Great Axe like in the temple with one of the batons, in an attempt to just take him out and down. And like, this is too much work right now. This was not what we were like being paid to do. So it hits him. He doesn't go like all the way down, certainly, but it's like he's not directly going to be contributing to the chaos other than as a punching bag for the next like set of seconds. All right, which would be Brand's move.
I mean, given all of the chaos, I think she is going to follow. I think she's maybe going to try to follow Ninfrida's lead, and try to get over the guards. maybe make it out the door if she can. I
By her lead, you mean the throw that you made to her person to. So are we just like diving for it?
yes, that is what I mean.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to spend a key point for Step of the Wind to double my jump distance for the turn. So if I can do that, I am just going to kind of wind up a little bit and then just bodily launch myself out of the cell if I can.
Okay. Yeah, no, I would love to see you attempt it because the guard immediately in the doorway is also now down on the ground. This is less of a challenge than it was just a second ago.
I would love to use like his
please.
back as a springboard or something.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Athletics or acrobatics?
I'm going to go. Oh, if you're going to use his back as a springboard, it's jump though. So I'm going to have to go with athletics for that one. Right. Because we're jumping. Yeah. Like springboard might have made but like jump is very clearly athletics.
That's totally fine. That is 22.
Oh yeah. No. Okay. So please, with a flourish, tell me exactly how this flight occurs and where you land.
Yeah. For sure. Happy to do so. So Brand, from the position she is in, kind of like drops down into a crouch for a second, almost like a runner's position, and then takes a couple steps forward before just launching herself over the head of the dwarf that is currently being restrained. Maybe like winks at him as she does so. And she's going to come down. He's a little
starry-eyed right now, but like you've never appeared more beautiful. Yeah.
She's going to come down and kind of like stick the landing sort of on the shoulders of the guard who is in the doorway. And then grab onto the bars and kind of use that to sort of twist her body around before like landing in a crouch outside of the cell.
Okay. There are fully in this receiving area. There's not as many as there were before, and there's still a couple that are in the library getting a sense of whether they need to actually be involved. So there's 4 of them in the holding area of the cell. We have a person down on the ground with this slime mold that now just feels like insult to injury because you've used him as a launching pad. He's this much dirtier with. And we don't know if this is going to cause damage. I don't know what this is, but gosh, it's disgusting. And then the 2 that were kind of helping there. So that's 3. There's 4 more in the receiving area as you land. They're not fully ready to jump into the fray, but they've got everything basically but their batons out. So their reaction to this is going to kind of be first a WTF, and then a little bit more of a oh, seriously? There's 4 of us and there's 1 of you. So they're going to attempt to restrain you together, as it were. But we've got now door open a little bit. Brand made a very dramatic move. I'm going to go with this one person in the holding cell that's been watching all this and really didn't want to get involved that still was oh, okay, maybe we'll actually get out of here without. The 2 thugs that haven't been super involved until now are not happy to see the guy that they were kind of trying to be buds with get hit so hard so they're gonna try and make some noise as well. I'm gonna go with one of them is going to attempt to kick a guard holding Mr. Great Axe is what I'm calling him, and then the other is gonna figure that this is a pretty good time to also try and sneak into the receiving area. So that one's gonna try and coming up to step over the guard that's down and maybe throw a punch at one of the ones that's trying to help. So pull a nice WWE launch to do that. We'll see how effective that is in the moment. But Toad and Zerk, you have, Zerk at least, you have a door that's partially open. What do you want to do?
Perfect. That's what I've been waiting for. Zerk sees that and as action, cast Vortex Warp. You see he pulls up his wrist gauntlet and shoots a blue softball sized blob at Mr. Great Axe, and it kind of floats kind of very slowly through the air. It doesn't look like any kind of matter most of you have probably ever seen before. And then it hits the ground where he's at and splatters all across it. And he then presses another button on his arm and shoots an orange blob out where the door is now just opened. And as soon as that blob hits the ground, the blue blob expands and looks like the ceiling of the storeroom. And it's up to Mr. Great Axe. Does he resist or not? As the gravity starts to kind of suck down into this, it looks like the ceiling is about to fall onto.
Yeah. Did we just make a portal reference? Not so subtly.
We are playing with portals.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. The color scheme, totally original. He's gonna resist because that is not a thing that he wants to play with, and
I
he's been
did
hit
tell him twice not to
for
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Not to resist.
And he doesn't remember that now because he's been hit in the head a
Okay.
couple of times.
That's fine.
When he thought you meant don't resist, he thought you meant the play fighting. This is a totally different animal. So what does he resist with?
He needs a con save of 16.
Okay. No. He is not going to make that.
All right, so he is sucked down through the portal, and
Just him or the two guards holding him as well?
Just him, one creature. The grapples are broken, and he sucked down, and then he pops up through what was the orange portal, and as Ray is about to hit the ground again, all the material kind of absorbs into the ground, and then he is on the ground in the storeroom.
Okay. He will let out a yell upon hitting the ground in the storeroom. The guards that were holding him are now not only what the hell just happened, but you're gonna see of the three that were directly on him, there's one that's definitely doing a "this is above my pay grade" kind of a face. So that one is going to head back sort of towards the receiving door with a little bit of that yeah, I'm helping the stuff that's happening outside now, but I also just want to get the fuck out of here. The other two have now are still a little bit in shock and will be for a couple of seconds, but they're going to try and subdue the crowd in the holding pen.
And
Cat.
I would say if I have my movement as well, I'll move out to the open door into the holding area. But
Okay.
my mirror images are kind of one of them's in the holding cell, two of them are in the other one, so they're kind of all over the place.
All right. Okay. All right. And Toad, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna try to get to where Brand is. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna try to go to the storage room to go get my stuff and stuff.
Okay. All right. So the door is cracked open, so you're just gonna open it right on up.
I mean, there was just a loud noise in there,
There was, yeah.
so I figured
After a bunch of very dramatic magical shenanigans, yes. Yeah. There's somebody in the storeroom I don't think is a question anymore. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to go into the storage room to go get my stuff,
Okay.
and Nefreda's crossbow.
Nice. Yeah, no one is in your way. The closest would have been Zerk. But having done his shenanigans, you can open the door and head in. Belle is apparently right behind the door, and Belle, you just had a angry, partially bleeding, thick dwarf man appear, looking a little discombobulated.
I mean,
Like
Belle
just to the side of the table that
Yeah.
things are scattered about. Yeah.
Belle definitely stares for a second and then just moves out of the way of the door because I assume they took my cloak and I want my cloak. So I'm gonna go see if I can find that.
Mhm.
And
Things are a
him,
bit of a
leave.
jumble.
Yeah.
For certain. Yep. Okay. All right. And Brand, as you have landed in this receiving area with all of the guards, are you hitting the ground running, or are we?
I think so. Can you remind me of what the actual way out of the jail is that we were able to see?
Yeah, sure. So the like this receiving area, if you can see where I'm pinging right now.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. The actual like front door of, you're going to have to head into like this hallway thing and then out through here. So it's like
Okay.
small door, hallway, and then this would lead into either the other like libraries and offices, and then this door leads out.
Got it. All right.
I mean, alternately, you could decide that you wanted to head like into mess and then out that way, but the easiest for you would be like really
Right.
obvious door, and
Right. Definitely.
it's where you were paraded past when you came in, so it's the way you're gonna
that
get out.
makes total sense. I'm pretty confident that I can outrun any of these guards. So the only real thing that I'm here to focus on at the moment is distracting them.
Okay.
So I am going to spend another key point, I think, to make myself more of a threat. I am going to use my Disciple of the Elements ability, Fangs of the Fire Snake. So I cause tendrils of flame to stretch out from my fists and my feet. So she is going to like hit the ground, stand up, take like kind of a ready fighting stance, and then her fists and her feet are going to burst into flame in such a way that they sort of resemble the heads of snakes or dragons or something like that. Hard to tell exactly what the details
Okay.
are.
And given your already color scheme, is this like orange flame of like a typical like campfire kind of a look, or do you have like more intense like whiter, bluer? What color is that?
I think it is. This is a unnaturally dark red flame.
Okay.
And there are 2 points of like bright blue at the end of each foot and fist, sort of the head of the snakes, where the eyes would be.
Awesome. Okay. All right. And you're running out of the door.
No, not currently.
Oh, okay.
I am getting ready. Like I'm happy to do that at a moment's notice, but the others need to get out first because that was our deal. So she is basically going to take a ready fighting stance and catch herself on fire so she looks more threatening, and then like I guess maybe sort of crack her neck and say, "All right, let's go." Yeah, basically.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. We're gonna have to roll another initiative order. That's fine. Because we're kind of out of Ninefreda had been, faking this swoon. Upon seeing you come in and like fly in and start your readiness stance, she's gonna like, oh, are we serious? Okay. And she's gonna like stand up and try and like basically elbow in the gut one of the guards that had been trying to see whether or not she was going to survive the day. It's a cheap shot, but it causes at least a moment of what's it called? Hesitation. All right, I am going to have us roll this, and then something is going to happen. So, if you wouldn't mind rolling another for initiative for me, that would be fantastic.
Let me know when you're ready.
I only if you are in the, sorry to be clear, for those of you that are in the receiving room, for like the rest of you right now are not in combat, unless you choose to so put yourself there.
I got a 19.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, good.
But the through that way is like the way out, like the most obvious way out.
That is
through
the most
room.
obvious way out.
And there are,
But we're
so
not
there-
we're not actually in that room, right? We're sort of like here-ish.
It was kind of because you guys were close to like the storeroom door. It was my assumption that you were mostly in like this-y area. If the Great Axe fight had to have been here because you had to be
I see.
close enough to the door too. But the Toad and Zerk, well, real Zerk, and are on this side.
Okay. I
Yeah.
misunderstood. I will have to
Okay.
lure them away.
Yes. Okay. All right. There is only one of them that's going to get to move before you. And they're not the bravest of thee. But and since they only have melee weapons, he's not like super excited about this plan. So he's going to like ready an action before you hit somebody. But most importantly, because you didn't know this, but I have a timer up, and it just dinged. Would all of you please make a wisdom save? Now, if you would like to resist this, you're going for. But right now, you just all feel a little bit funny.
Is it a charm or a frightened effect, perchance?
It is not.
Okay.
For lack of better word, it's awe.
I got a 12.
5.
5.
Toad?
3
I
fives.
got 18.
Okay. So, Toad, if you choose to resist this like sense of awe and of the like importance of the moment, you can do so. But what everyone is going to experience is this really low rumble coming from the sky of a sound so low in register that you feel most of it rather than hear it, and almost like a note from like a bass guitar kind of a sound. And those of you who have the ability to see anything that has a window to the outside, so really only people in the receiving room, so Brand and like Minifeda, are going to see a flare of orange fading to like a reddish and then back to mostly normal color light outside. We were in evening before, so it's like real bright for a little bit and then fades, but like dramatically through the windows. And you'll start to hear outside like shouts of everything from sort of panic to like confusion, and then that same sense of awe overcome. But if for those of you who failed, and if you're resisting, Toad, yes or no?
I'm figure that something's going on. Like, wait, no, guards are doing something, and then
Need to keep your head? Okay.
need to keep my head
All right.
looking in the storage unit for my stuff and everyone's stuff.
So
I can recognize.
everyone else is going to appear dazed for a second, with the like exception of like maybe one other person in the holding area and like one guard you can't see. And that like slight intake of breath of everyone almost in synchronized time. For those of you who failed, you're going to experience almost that the world becomes grayed out. So like the forms of people are somewhat visible, all of the humanoids, etc., around you, but almost as like a shadow of themselves. The rest of the world, all of the features, the furniture, even to some degree like the ground and the walls, have just become featureless gray. That thrum that you felt through your body and the sound that came from the sky sets almost like a vibration through the air around you, and certain people are more distinct than others. But this figure of larger stature than a person, like maybe, for those of you who've seen a Goliath ever, that kind of size, like almost looks like they're walking through in between wall and space around you. And there's this like almost shimmer to the figure. Like it's not quite in one place, right? Like it's vibrating. And there's a voice in that very, very low tone, and then also a much higher in the register at the same time. So it doesn't sound human. It sounds like two things that maybe if we found a middle ground would sound human, but definitely don't. It's going to make it almost sound like clearing its throat. And I cannot replicate this sound because it's not a human sound, but go, who among you will be champions? And for what feels like simultaneously a full like minute of not being able to do anything, of that not quite figure, not quite shadow, just basically slowly walk from your perception on what would have been like through the wall of the jail and then back out again. Two of you will have a message about this in your DM. But almost as soon as that thrum came through, you have that same feeling of almost like percussive sound. And then everyone takes another like of breath, and you're back exactly where you were. Nothing else has changed in thee, but clearly most people experienced this same feel. Not all of them, though. Toad just looks like confused and partially annoyed, maybe.
I have stop thing. I'm just looking at them like, the shaker. You're gonna be okay.
That was crazy.
Yeah. What?
And now that we're back in, we hope it's reality, is there any what could be presumed fire outside, like the yellow orange flames going off?
You can't see that from where you are.
Okay.
Brand will have to get closer to a window or outside to see exactly what's going on there. But from where you are, you can't perceive what's going on outside yet.
In the storm.
It doesn't sound like fire.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Be back in.
as I would like get my shield from the storeroom, but that seems pretty trivial at this point.
It's nothing
I mean,
trivial about getting your gear.
Do I see anybody else's like? I don't know what Brand's gear would look like, but if there's a weird ass shield, I'm like, that's probably that weird
There's definitely a weird ass shield.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
it is not
looking at my
even kind
stuff.
of normal looking. I think this is number 4 for the counter, by the way.
I may know what Brand's gear looks like, so if I see it, I'll grab it.
I actually don't think Brand has any gear.
Yeah, say
in
if
there.
Brand has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's fine. I think she just knew she wasn't convincing anybody to leave without their stuff. So
Yeah. She notices
Okay.
the crossbow, since the goblin seemed very attached to that.
It's true. It's a heavy crossbow. She is very attached to it. It has a name. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zerk would cast expeditious retreat on himself and try and get out of there as quick as possible.
Okay.
At this point, if there's distraction going on, people are confused, just try and bolt out of there.
Yeah. Some of the people in the holding cell are now like panicking. The priest-like figure appears probably the calmest of all of you all. But in a way of like a meditation almost. Like if that's your reaction to it, like, well, that probably makes sense. There's a couple of like the immediate cries of like, every man for himself. And some of the guards like have booked it out onto the street to see what's happening. Specifically, we've got about half of them have just decided to get out. There is a scramble from a guard that was clearly like in the latrine near the storeroom that like pulls on his britches and like makes a run for it. Because, that had to have been a religious experience, for on the toilet for that one. So you now only have about 5 guards remaining in the actual building of the jail. And the ones that headed out, Brand, you can hear some of the reactions of the ones that like pushed past you and left, including some of the ones in the library of just that, like, what the hell? But not a like, what the hell, get the buckets. Like, just there's a confusion.
If I can act outside of initiative, Brand would like just talk to the guards that she's sort of still squared off with and basically say, like look towards the entrance to the jail and sort of shrug and say, "Looks like we're the least of your problems."
Yeah, talking's free. That's yeah. They're not the like this was not how this was supposed to go. They're not looking quite like they want to engage with you in the same way that they were before. The one that Ninifreda has squared off with is definitely doing the like, this is not the problem that I wanted today. Like, I want to go home. I want to eat my cheese. I want to do the like, I got a nice, But so there's just that hesitation now to engage in the same amount of conflict within the jail, especially because they were like, you heard from multiple of them that they were kind of planning on releasing you in the morning anyway.
Mhm.
So the ones in the holding cell, of the 4 of them that were in there, 2 have gone past you and said no, and the other 2 are just kind of like holding off the like, if any of you think that you're gonna hit me on the way out. But you don't get the sense that they're willing to lay down their life to keep you all in light of whatever it was that we all just experienced. And probably the most confused are the maybe 3, including Toad, that didn't experience the same thing that it feels
Right.
like most of you did. Yes. So.
Can I make that a perception, or not a perception, a persuasion check? Like
Sure.
basically say, "You're gonna let us go in the morning anyway. Is this really worth it?"
Yeah, for sure. Persuasion or...
Okay.
Yeah, no, persuasion. I don't... Like, intimidation's going to be significantly harder, so...
It's the same for me no matter what.
Yeah. I don't know if you're proficient in what. Yeah, maybe. I do know if you're proficient in what, but I don't have your sheet right in front of me, so...
I am not proficient in either of those, but I did roll a 19. So
Heyo. Yeah, great. Yeah, the like 3 that would make any kind of direct conflict with you, including the one that's like being like Goblin, what the hell, are going to like kind of like put the like not drop the batons, but like put them down to the side, and the ones goes like, I've got a little girl at home, and just starts walking out, and the other 2 are kind of doing the like, all right, like, if you like, I don't know what's going on, but I either want to see or I don't want to like have this get in the way of me figuring out what's going on. No more are gonna leave, but you really only have like 3 that if you directly decided to hit them would get, but they're not gonna fight you.
okay, if they're not gonna fight, then I'm just gonna head towards the entrance and see if the others are ready to go.
Okay. If you head towards the entrance versus heading towards where everybody else is, that's different directions. So are you going to like head to the entrance and wait out, or head towards storeroom kind of thing?
Head towards the storeroom first,
Okay.
and just kind of like lean there in the doorway and say, we should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It will take you, if you go looking for your stuff, just like the barest amount of, like a while to like dig through to find all of your things. It is clear that a lot of people's purses have been lightened since that they were like put in this room. But all of your stuff is still here, like stuff wise, nothing was removed. As like Great Axe Man is like going to like intimidate the guards in front of him in the holding cell to like get the F out. The guy who had the slime mold all over him is really unhappy and has left. Like that's very much a like, I don't get paid for this crap. And is it going to burn me? Is it going to hurt me? I don't know. Like the like there's like a couple of tears of frustration with this experience. Mr. Great Axe, if that door was open, is going to head immediately in and grab the axe. Like if Brand is not immediately in there, like his reaction to the rest of you is going to be like kind of respectful for, but he's going to also do the like, well, like I don't know what just happened, but I think this might be an instance in which the strong survive. I don't know what you just experienced, but and he'll like thump the like haft of the axe like against his chest and be like, I'm Toth Black Eyes, that is definitely the name I was born with. But if you need a crew to run with while you're in Obsidian Bay, this is not where I usually make my stomping grounds, but you can't resist the festival looking for anything that might be of worth. And my business here was unfortunately interrupted. Also, my cup of fine mulled wine and some sort of fried dough with sugar. But
It is time to go. Yes, and we'll start pulling him towards the exit.
My point, and it'll let you pull him, because you're your armor is impressive, but your arms are probably noodles. Given the size of you, my point would be in getting out of Obsidian Bay, if you need allies. And the two thug bits are gonna absolutely be yeah, we're with you. This is and it's but I intend to make my way back out of the city now. This festival is done. My business here is concluded. My dough was fallen on the ground. My day mostly ruined. Goes except for and as they head out, there's gonna be a brand. Be what performance? And he is gonna go to embrace you with wide arms of that was the most entertaining thing that's happened to me in a decade. If you allow him to hug you, he will hug you.
I think Bran's caught off guard enough that she does, and kind of
it's a hearty
really,
squeeze. Your ribs feel it a little bit as you but you've already been thrown across the room by this man, so yeah.
She either laughs or has the wind crushed out of her. You're not sure which the sound.
Some
is.
Combination, yeah. It's a good
exactly. But yeah, once she sets him down, she again sort of starts just sort of surveying what exactly is happening.
Okay. So you grab your gear. Does anyone take anything that doesn't belong to you?
If no one else seems to be in there, I'll poke around a bit and see if there's anything. But I'm not gonna hang out. If we're leaving, I'll leave too.
Some things that clearly were left behind by. So if you wanted additional clothing or just for funsies, none of it immediately at least looks all that special. The people that are coming to clear out, that are grabbing their stuff, are kind of grabbing anything that looks worthy of interest, but most of that honestly wasn't even all that exciting. There's a couple of decently made swords, but it's stuff that probably would be kind of beneath you at this point in your adventuring career anyway. Yeah. So nothing of immediate interest, but if you want to grab some stuff to be wearing something different as you're headed out of town, you've definitely got the option to grab some of those. No? Okay. All right. So is everyone heading outside is my question.
Yes.
I'm up.
Yes.
Is this you human again?
Back
Or?
on. I'm
Okay.
human again.
All right.
I do have Minifreda's. If Toad doesn't have it, I do have her crossbow. If nobody else took it,
she will be very grateful. Okay. Toad, ignore that, please. Thank you. She'll honestly embrace it for a half moment, and she'll be oh, Penelope. She's gotten me through a lot. The roads are not the safest of places, and people will definitely not hesitate to mess with me, but they will hesitate to mess with Penelope. So, okay. So as you head outside, looking. There's immediately the guards that left. Most of them are still immediately out front. And then everybody that was faster that you were clearing out, either that didn't have gear that they gave a shit about or grabbed their stuff and ran. Most of them are also still kind of immediately in front of the city jail, staring up at the sky, because there is now a fireball streak of what looks like a comet just hanging in the middle of this darkening twilight sky. We have that navy color as the sun goes down, and like the stars are not fully up yet. It's not completely night, but shadows are long. Like if you were, planning on doing any traveling, like it would definitely be past the point of a normal travel hours. And there's this like burning ball of very bright, like red orange streaking out into like orange and yellow tail. And like a comet, it's just kind of hanging there. Like it doesn't necessarily look like it's actively falling, but it's a bright, large beacon in the sky. Definitely like crosses through a major constellation kind of a thing. And it's close for a comet. If you've ever seen one of them before in the sky, it's usually not one colored like this, but it's also not usually this large. And it's not like you saw it last night. It's new. And yeah, so the whispers around have already begun. If you do any listening to the people that are talking about it on the streets, it's very much a like anywhere from this is a sign of the impending apocalypse to like, what kind of wizardry is like, are they attempting for this holiday, and like who could have possibly managed this?
On that note, would Zerk have any idea what this is? What's going on?
Would you, what kind of...
Just the background of limbo kind of space, like matter, anything that he's recognized.
Okay. We could do your choice of sort of arcana or nature of whether this sounds like a celestial occurrence that you might have more familiarity with.
That's going to be a 24 for arcana.
Great. Yeah, this definitely, like, because it appeared so suddenly and like where it's hanging in the sky and how close this was not a like comet through its usual path and flight. This has to be something that is like have been formed in the sky now, and obviously your suspicion with that would be that it is magical in nature or possibly divine, but it's not something you're common with. Like this is not a thing in limbo that you saw like come every 750 years or whatever on the like of the big comets that you know about or of the big celestial events that occur with any kind of regularity. This is well outside of the scope of that. And you're like, yeah, like we're due for a like 1,000-year comet coming up, but that one's like a streak of white green in the sky, and that's definitely not what this is. And you would have seen it like its flight across like as it slowly makes its way through the sky and then vanishes. So this cannot be that. You are certain.
Yeah, I share that with the group, and it's like I'm certain this is no ordinary celestial body. This is magical of some kind.
Yeah.
But for now,
what was your first clue?
Nenafreda's gonna be like, oh my stars. Okay. Well, festival's supposed to last 3 days. This was, like first full day. But maybe my stall needs to not be here for the next 2. Oh my. Are you leaving? Like, do we think that? Is this a what? Toad?
I don't know what's going on.
Doesn't seem like a great place to be at the moment.
I feel like I've missed something.
Yeah, does anyone want to like fill in, or do you want to tell people that they might have gotten it from Hint, but that you didn't experience what they experienced?
When I was in the storage room, Belle's eyes glazed over. But okay, yeah, Belle's eyes glazed over, but I felt something was going on. Is this what was happening?
There was also everything kind of went hazy and some guy. I- mm,
So you
There
all
was
saw that.
yes, there
Yeah,
was
I saw
something
that.
that happened. This
Something happened.
might be a better story for when we leave the city. This might be our perfect distraction to get out while we can.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I live here.
I do have a job
Things
here.
to do here.
Okay. Oh, and so Toth will be coming out and going, I do not wish to stay if these omens are placed above this city. This is not a place where I wish to meet an end of days. But worthy people should be banding together for what comes next. Like, doubtless, and he'll gesture to the people all staring or freaking out in the streets of, those who would wish to take advantage of the situation will make themselves known. And the Obsidian Bay is the raid that we experienced. This is the mayor's doing, I'm certain. Cleaning the streets of the undesirables or the unlikely people who don't look like they fit into the society here. This is not a place for what comes now.
Zerk looks up at the flame in the sky and looks at his armor and knowing he didn't exactly what he was looking for, but thinks he's approached most of the city. He says, I am ready to leave this town. I know we're not going to be welcome with the city guard, and with this ill omen, I find it best to take up Toth here on his offer of leaving the city. But that's me.
We have left the prison behind. Our alliance was useful, but I have business to attend to still here in the city. And I don't know what that means, but somebody does.
Well, could your business be swift? If I do know, a handful of helpful merchants, and if we wanted to outfit ourselves to, head out of town, I do have my small cart and wares. But if you needed, I could certainly facilitate a getting out of Dodge for a while. So I don't know what your business looks like, but
when I finish my deal, I'll be all too happy to leave Obsidian Bay in the dust.
There's a distinct possibility with this new development that my bounty is no longer here, or I will no longer be paid for it. So
there's also a distinct possibility that this city might be dust come morning.
that is also true. There's a
Not
giant
asking any
fireball
of
in
you
the
to
sky.
stay or help, but I can't leave yet.
And Toth will immediately go I will gather the strong and worthy of who I meet, who I know, and we will was to the west of the city, heading out towards into the my people are from the Cowland out in that direction, and I would certainly rather be in the wilds than face this in the kind of dishonesty and crush of the city on the bay. And if you were to give a direction to where the comet is hanging in the sky, western is at least closer to. And I also if this is some sort of portent, I would like to be there to meet it. Come morning,
Well, then,
I will see what kind of caravan I can amass, and by midday, should we all last that long, we will roll out. And he's just gonna kind of like give you all like a sort of like curt nod, and then like one more time like clap Brand on the shoulder to be like, you know, the in the appreciation for, and just kind of like start running, or not running, like striding away, and the like 2 little lackeys that he's accumulated will like, you know, shuffle off after him. Yeah.
Well then, suppose we make plan to meet at the Western Gate tomorrow. But if
Sounds
I'm
good.
not there, don't wait for me.
Do you want me to
Deal.
help you out? I got nothing better to do at this point.
So you two sound like you know a bit about the city. Do you know where I could find an enchanted bowl?
Still?
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't really clear with you in the beginning because I was trying to get it back.
Yeah, it would have been nice to know that you're actually a turtle person. Like, what is this get? Like, who? And you look like a totally different human again because you just put on the circlet. So yeah. Like
I guess
like, it's awkward.
I guess technically you helped us escape, and I said I'd help you find the bowl.
Where would like a pretty powerful magical artifact be fenced?
Well, during normal run of the festival, if it were a legitimate business person, it would have been in the inner circle market. But if it's not, we probably need to head back out into the outer ring. But who knows what that's going to look like now. As like the streets of like the awe is wearing off and people are starting to scatter, and like varying stages of like distress and levels of like they're like feel that they need to be upset and panicking, like people doing the like, you know, I need to immediately grab my shit and figure out what's going on, versus like, I don't know what's going on, so maybe it's just a good idea to like have my shoes on, you know, like that kind of a feel. But it is now like the immediate shock of it is worn off enough that people are starting to do the like, how do I react to this?
I will look at Bell and Zerk and Toden and say, my business should be quick. I know exactly who has the object. I've already paid for it. I just need to collect it. You should help Toad, and I'll find you in the outer circle.
Okay.
And then Brand's gonna run off to find the art dealer.
Yeah. So you're heading back to basically the market square that you all left, and where you got picked up. It's been more than 2 hours now, so you've got at least the possibility of like if your art deal is still on, it's enough time for you to grab that. Before the rest of you get a move on, it's clear that like Ninafreda is happy to like shuffle you to where you need to go. She's going to like introduce herself to Belle, and then like, you know, I don't know if we've read in the same circles before. I'm only in this town for, you know, a couple of times a year, but like, you know, and she'll like produce for you like a little like card of like with her name on it in a like, you know, slightly fancier script, and it just says like purveyor and tradesperson on the bottom, and she's like, I could potentially like be of assistance. It'd be nice to know a couple of people in the area, but I just did anybody hear things in your head when that happened?
Yes.
Like
Who
I
among
felt
the
like there was a
champions? Yeah,
oh,
I did too.
I felt like I was being perceived and then dismissed. It was a very strange feeling, and not something I want to experience again. But I didn't, nothing about champion. But like a big shadow person.
That I saw.
And everybody else was shadows? It's only something, and
It's not something I'd like to experience again.
let's get you ready to find a bowl. All right, and it's wood and it's got carvings. And she's gonna start like muttering and like start walking off at like double time, holding the heavy crossbow and like readjusting everything that she's been wearing now that she's been flung across the room a couple of times. With so, in interest of not getting too far into next steps of plot, I think we're going to call it